Hey, it's the Odd Man. I am in the Badwater Basin of Death Valley. This is a huge park, of course, and I didn't see it all. But I started in the south, went up through the Badwater Basin, took a little detour over to the Zabriskie Pass and the Old Mule Road, went up and spent the night in Furnace Creek, buzzed over to Stovepipe Wells where I spent the second night, and after Stovepipe Wells, I stopped in at Penniman Springs. I really do love being able to get out places like this where there's no people around. It's just wide open spaces, kind of like a Dixie Chick song, you know. Wide open spaces, room to make your big mistake. Walking out to start my run. I'm almost at the Terminator. Sweet. Oh, yeah, that's just plain old salt. It's salty. This is a land of extremes. Right now I'm 282 feet below sea level, which is the lowest place in the continental United States. In 1917, they recorded a temperature of 134 degrees, which is the highest known temperature on the planet. And this is the driest national park in the country. This place is also the home of the Badwater Ultramarathon, which is 135 miles. It goes from here, which is the lowest point on the continental U.S., to Mount Whitney, 135 miles away, which is the highest point on the continental U.S. Has something like 40,000 feet of elevation gain in the course of the run. That's extreme. Certainly far more extreme than I'm willing or able to handle. So in the spirit of doing something extreme, I've walked a mile from the car and I'm going to run almost due west. It's about 245 degrees for 2 miles and then back 2 miles, of course. I'm using that valley ahead as my landmark. That's how I determined which direction I was going to run. Due west, 270 degrees is more like out that way somewhere. I'm not off to a terribly good start. I realized I forgot my sunscreen, but that's all right. I'll only be out about an hour and a half, maybe a little more than that, especially by the time I do all the video and stuff. This is strange. Just got a little harder to run, but basically I just need to keep picking up my feet a little better. I set my camera on the water bottle because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to find it again. I'm glad I did, because it was kind of, the little red beacon was pretty helpful. I just realized that there's no wind. Every place I've been in the desert, including Furnace Creek where I camped last night, the wind's usually howling. Oh well, I'm not complaining about that. It got a little rougher a little further out. How's this for being out in the middle of nowhere? All right, my course was about 245, so the reciprocal is about 65. Yeah, so somewhere back there. Kind of a good thing I was thinking about the compass, because once you're out here, there's not a whole lot of landmarks. Oh, I missed my target a little. I've been heading here, but the car is over here. Close enough. I'd say that was an extreme run, don't you? This is an extremely huge campground. 230 sites. They say it never fills up, but the campground is essentially acres of gravel with chalk lines to delineate the spaces. Extremely weird. This is the campground at Stovepipe Wells. I found my first scorpion, little teeny tiny guy. At least I think that's a scorpion. Maybe it's a cricket. A month I've spent in the desert and I finally saw what looks like a scorpion. It's about time. But that's the extreme nature of Death Valley. You know me, I drive this Expedition. It's a pretty big vehicle, right until somebody like this parks next to me. This is the view from the Panamint Springs deck out in front of the grocery store. I'm sitting here enjoying a bad cup of coffee. As I've noted, this is a huge park, and as a result, you end up driving to a lot of this stuff, which I did. This is a Brisky Point. This is a view north from the Artist's Drive.
We're not going to go for too long. We'll walk.
They say a lot of the iconic Death Valley pictures have been taken from Zabriskie Point.
Oh, that's it. No.
This is the 20 Mule Canyon Road. This was a mining road to a borax mine. I hadn't really planned to come up here. Didn't really want to take the time because I'm out of stuff for lunch. But it's lunchtime, so I guess I'll just make do with peanut butter and jelly and apples. It's all that's left in the cooler. This park is the driest national park in the system. Looking at this landscape, you can sure believe that. Look at this. There are sand dunes in Death Valley. I didn't realize that. Mesquite Flats. To give you an idea of the size of Death Valley, this valley in front of us is where Panamint Springs was. The Badwater Basin is on the other side of those mountains. Hey, it's the Odd Man. I'm stuck in the sand in Death Valley. This is on a road out of the Stovepipe Wells campground. Went past the airport and heads over to these mountains. That's Stovepipe Wells off in the distance. It's just a tiny cluster of buildings out in the middle of this huge open desert. They have a paved airstrip here. Extremely sophisticated. And it may not be rideable. Look at this. Soft sand. That's the worst. All right, well, I'm into this bike ride about 2.4 miles. It said soft sand, and there's been quite a bit, but up until here, it had been rideable. If you can see here, I was way down in the sand, pedaling and going nowhere. So ultimately, I ended up stopping. Look at this. This looks like there was a snake through here at one point. Wonder which way he was headed. See, let's see what's here. Darn. Once again, I'm disappointed. Don't get to see a rattlesnake. Well, I've been kind of procrastinating out here, enjoying the warmth and the sunshine. It's like perfect weather. Probably 70 or 75 degrees in the sunshine. And my next step, of course, is to hike back through all that soft sand a quarter of a mile. So I've been kind of procrastinating on that. But it's time to get cooking. Time to go home. This was my last park, last exercise. kind of looking forward to getting home. As always, one of the best things about traveling is getting home. Thanks for watching. I am extremely pleased. I survived Death Valley. This is the Odd Man, out.